What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to go ahead and get into this Indiana Pacers versus New York Knicks Round 2, Game 1 NBA playoff matchup that'll be played at 7:30 p.m. All right, today, Monday, 5/6/2024. Now, this line did open up over-under at 215.5. New York minus 6.5. The line has since moved to over-under 217.5. New York Knicks minus 5.5. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at these two teams. The Indiana Pacers are coming off a 6-game series against the Bucks and are 1-2 straight up on the road in these playoffs, while the New York Knicks are coming off a 6-game series with the 76ers and are 2-1 straight up at home in these playoffs. Okay, now last time these two teams did meet, all right, was back on February 10th, 2024, this season. Indiana Pacers did win 125-111 in New York. At that point in time, we all knew what Jalen Brunson was doing. He was actually averaging 36 points a game versus the Indiana Pacers on the season and the 3 times that they have matched up. But the New York Knicks were facing a lot of injuries. Mitchell Robinson was out. O.J. Anunoby was out. I want to say Hartenstein was also out at that time. So the Knicks were faced with a lot of injuries at that point in time. So the 6-seeded Indiana Pacers did eliminate the Milwaukee Bucks, like we just got done talking about. And the Knicks did beat the 76ers. Brunson led the way with 35.5 points per game scoring average. He scored 39, 47, 40, and 41 over the final 4 games of the series. We all know Brunson's bona fide gangster, you guys. I mean, he's a straight up star. We know what he's doing out here. And he's putting up numbers comparable to the greats of history, guys. So just please pay attention. We are watching the official handoff of the NBA. Okay, remember, this is the first time you've seen a playoff since 2007 that you haven't seen Giannis, you haven't seen LeBron, you haven't seen Curry, there's no Durant. But this is the first time, guys. So please take it all in. Understand what's happening out here on the court. Okay, please enjoy it. This is some good basketball going on. All right, so at the end of the day, when you look at these two teams, last 10 times these two teams, well, hold up, let's get an injury report because that is kind of important. Tyrese Halliburton is questionable with the back. He's being hindered by lower back spasms, and it is unknown if he will be available for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference second round game against the Knicks, guys. Of course, we already know it's the same with Benedict Mathurin. He's been out. We know Bogdanovich has been out for the Knicks, and Julius Randle's been out. Jericho Sims is probable. Sims is battling right shoulder inflammation, but it's anticipated that he will suit up for this Game 1 matchup in the Eastern Conference semifinals, guys. All right, so like I said, the last 10 times these two teams have matched up, Knicks run the series 6-4 straight up, 6-4 against the spread, and it's 5 to the over, 5 to the under in the last 10 times these two teams have matched up. However, this season the Pacers do run the series, okay, 2-1. They've only seen each other 3 times this year. The game did go under twice and over once. The first time they saw each other back on December 30th is the only time it went over. The rest of the times it went under, but those were extremely high numbers. It was 237 and 235.5. All right, now when you're looking at how these two teams have been playing the last 10 times they've been on the court, all right, Pacers are 7-3 straight up, 5-5 against the spread, and 8 to the over, 2 to the under, which is a key number to pay attention to, you guys, because that kind of lets you know how they've been playing. They did play 6 of these last 10 games in the playoffs, so that lets you know what kind of games they've had. All right, when you're looking at the last 6 games that they played in the playoffs, they are 1, 2, 3, 4 to the over, 2 to the under in the last 6 games in the playoffs. And then when you look at the Knicks are 8-2 in the last 10, 5-5 against the spread, and 8 to the over, 2 to the under in the last 10 as well. And they played 6 games in the playoffs as well. And in those last 6, they have 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're 4-2 to the over. All right, in their last 6. In their last 6 against the spread, they are 3-4. Whereas in their last 6 against the spread, the Pacers are also 3-4 against the spread, guys, in their last 6 games. That as far as the playoffs is concerned. All right, so when you're talking about these two teams situationally, okay, as a home team throughout the playoffs, all right, New York Knicks, we all know they're 4-2. Like they do what they're supposed to do throughout this playoffs. And they have been showing up at home throughout the season, because on the season they're straight up, they were 29-15, whereas on the road the Pacers were 21-22. All right, now as a home favorite, the Knicks were 26-7 on the season, and as a away underdog, Pacers straight up 12-14. Guys, very important to pay attention to those types of things right there. All right, now when you look against the spread on the season as a home team, Knicks are 22-21, and as a home favorite, they are 18-15. Whereas the Pacers, as an away team, they're 22-20-1, and when you're talking about against the spread as an away underdog, they're 14-11-1. You guys, now as far as in this playoffs, both teams are 3-3 against the spread, and when you're talking about over-unders, both teams have been playing a lot of overs. They're 4-2, like I said, in the last 6 in this playoff. And as an away underdog on the season, the Pacers were 14-11-1. So 14 to the over, 11 to the under, and 1 push. Whereas the Knicks as a home favorite were 14 to the over, 19 to the under with 0 pushes, guys. All right. But you got to pay attention to the trends, like I've been telling you, and the trends are leaning towards team totals, guys. That's what you would want to look at. But let's go ahead and let's talk about it. So in the last 3 games, the Pacers have scored 112.7 points per game and gave up 108.7 points per game in the last 3. Whereas the Knicks have scored 107 points per game and given up 106.3 points per game. Please remember the matchups. This was a Milwaukee Bucks team that had no Giannis and no Dame at some points throughout the playoff series that they just got done playing, and it went like that, you know. And then when you look at the Knicks, the Knicks were playing against a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, who were battling injuries the whole time, but they had their stars for the most part, guys. So those are key things to pay attention to. Now, as far as offensive efficiency, you know everything's always going to lean towards Indiana, because Indiana's a running gun team, and that's just what they like to do. Okay, but when it goes to defense, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to lean towards the Knicks. Like, these two teams are perfectly matched up in this playoff series. And when you talk about defense versus offense and true understanding of the game, a lot of times in the playoffs, you want to look towards the defensive team over the offensive team, guys. At least in my perspective and in my experiences. And that's because the defensive team is the more sure-handed team, the more consistent team. You know defense is going to be there. A lot of times the shots might not be there, but defense is. And just to give you a little key look behind the window, man, the way that the Pacers were allowing Milwaukee to score in this last series, whether you're talking about the Pacers allowing Milwaukee to get in the paint, or you're talking about the Pacers allowing Milwaukee to really get to the mid-range, those are the sweet spots for the Knicks, you guys. So those are some of the things you need to understand, because they weren't playing like, and I understand, Knicks play like 7 or 8 players on the season usually. So what that does is that makes things a little bit more, sorry y'all, you know what I mean? The thing was bugging me that once in the middle. All right, but yeah, you know, that makes things a little bit more crazy. You know what I mean, as far as the lineups and the matchups, because you play such a limited amount of players. All right, but when you look at these two teams, you got to understand the Knicks have lost each of their last 8 Eastern Conference semifinals games against the Central Division opponents following the win. All right, the underdogs have won each of the Pacers' last 4 Eastern Conference semifinal games, and the underdogs have covered the spread in each of the Pacers' last 6 Eastern Conference semifinal games. The Knicks have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 4 home games after winning as underdogs. And then when you talk about why the Knicks might possibly win, all right, the Pacers have lost each of their last 9 playoff road games following a win. The home team has won 10 of the Knicks' last 11 Eastern Conference semifinals games. The favorites have covered the spread in 9 of the last 10 games between the Pacers and the Knicks. And the Pacers have failed to cover the spread in 7 of their last 8 playoff games as underdogs, you guys. 16 of the Knicks' last 18 night games have gone over the total points line, and each of the Pacers' last 4 games as underdogs have gone over the total points line. All right, so what do I like? What am I leaning? I'm actually leaning right now the Knicks team total points at 110, I think it is. You might be able to get that some places. I like that. I like the Knicks minus the 5.5 if you can find that. Maybe buy a point and get it at Knicks minus 4.5. I'm leaning, really liking that as well. I think the Knicks will come out in this series and go ahead and put their stamp on it. Game 1. This is going to be Jalen Brunson versus Tyrese Halliburton. Who's the better leader right now? Okay, and whose coach is better? Yeah, the Pacers are a deeper team. Do they have an opportunity to cover this? Yes, they do. But the Knicks will be rocking, and I don't think that it's going to be as easy as it was when you're talking about the physicality of the series, you know, and the physicality of the game as it was against the Milwaukee Bucks, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Of course, you know, I did play what I did in the previous, like, week or 2 weeks throughout and all this stuff here, man. Yesterday was definitely a horrible day. But, you know, we don't have many of those. You can check the dates on those. We have, like, play it back. Look at the dates. You can see how consistent things are, man. I don't be playing. I actually do come through with some locks. And yesterday was just horrible, man. Horrible. 1 point, Magic. 1 point. You couldn't score 1 more point, you guys. You know what I mean? So I at least could have broke, or not broke even. I would have done what I needed to do for the day. You know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is, guys. All right? Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.